don't run behind Lakshmi. Lakshmi is nothing but money. Always look at a learning. Suppose you have a knowledge, skills, then automatically Lakshmi will follow. These are the three things what they told me mentors. And I believed those concepts, basic concepts, and as still now I believe and I'll implement in my day-to-day work. So my mantra is that learn the basics and whatever comes into your plate, grab those opportunities, learn those aspects.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 16th episode of the Leader Speak podcast. Here today we have Ajay MS, who has more than 2 decades of experience in different industries like automobile, chemical, engineering, and other. He has worked in both MNC, multinational company, as well as large companies. He did post graduation MSW in Harvard, Human Resources and Development from the Harvard, and he did diploma in training and development in ISD Delhi. Recently, he completed the executive MBA from IIM Lucknow. In this episode, we had done a lot of discussion about employee engagement, employee branding, about training and development, about feedback, and a lot of other things which is related to HR. Let's dive in to the conversation with Ajay MS. Welcome back to the episode 16, the Leader Speak podcast. I'm your host, Pasuraj. Today, I have a HR head. He has more than 2 decades of experience, Ajay MS. Let's dive in the conversation with Ajay MS. Thank you, sir, for coming over the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you, Basaraj, for hosting me on the Leadership Talk. It is pleasure to have an interaction and share my knowledge to the audience.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Let's begin with about your life, where you born, about your family background, your education. Let's understand your personal first thing.
Thanks, Basaraj. So I believe each and every person has his own story. Even mine also a small story, which began at from a small school called a Keyboard School in the Harvard, where
I'm basically from North Karnataka.
yeah, I'm from North Karnataka,
Okay.
and where I born and brought up and studied my entire schooling and post graduation.
Okay.
So when I entered into school, I always believed that education is about textbook. But when I entered to school, I thought that not only the textbook, it's about culture, it's about values, it's about sports, okay, which help me to understand my life and studies in a better way, okay. So about my family, I born and brought up in a close knit family background where values played a very important and critical role in my upbringing in life, okay. Some of the key values are like honesty, trust, transparency, which help me to grow in my life as during the success as well as during the turbulent times. Okay. So with regard to a family, I'm married and I've got two beautiful kids who are one. My son is working and my daughter is studying, and my wife is also a working professional. Okay, and she works with one of the US university called University of People. Okay, where she teaches her asynchronous learning. And I'm always a curious learner, basically, to look at the new aspects, challenging things, okay, which I always believe is that once you deep dive into that, you will have a something to learn, something to give back to the society.
Got it.
And during my free time, I usually go for a long walk and listen to music. And I'm also a good cook, basically.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So during free time, I do the cook, and these help me to rejuvenate my life with relaxation, look at aspects in a different way, and also help me to look at things in a better way. Okay, this is brief about me.
Super. Oh, what is your favorite dish?
So
I come to cooking.
yeah, always my favorite dishes are basically I cook on various aspects of paneer, it's mushrooms, basically the vegetarian. I'm more of a vegetarian. It's great. compared to the non-vegetarian cook.
Superb. Yeah. Yeah. I just going through your profile in LinkedIn that you have more than 2 decades of experience in HR. And here come every person has a different story to choose their profession, right? And I thought I'd just check with you that what made you to choose as a HR profession? Why not any other profession? Do you have any something story there that definitely you want to go, you want to build a career in HR? Could you explain, could you help us to understand why you choose as HR?
Okay, my story goes back into my old school days, basically,
Okay.
as a HR. So HR is nothing but people
Acha.
or connecting to the people.
Okay.
So during school days, I was very actively engaged in sports, basically,
Okay.
which helped me to understand various dynamics of sports as well as how teamwork plays a key role in sports.
Yeah.
And the same activities continued during my college and postgraduate days. Also, I would like to highlight here is that I was an active member of NCC, basically National Cadet Corps,
Yeah.
where the NCC helped me to develop some of the key competencies, discipline, teamwork, and also understand the various diversity background of the people when you deal with them. Got it. And I would like to give some important aspects here is that when I was in college days, I took some of the leadership roles in college. One aspect I would like to highlight is that I was a captain of football team
Wow.
for a Karnataka Science College, Dharwad, which is one of the prestigious college in North Karnataka.
I know. Yeah.
And also, I was a secretary of a student union at Karnataka University as well as Karnataka Science College.
Acha.
So these leadership help me to understand the dynamics of human behavior and how human behaviors behave during good times and conflict times, and what are the aspects we need to take care when you deal with the human aspects. So these also made me a think over that I always connected with people, and it also helped me that how people dynamics are changes from one person to other person, and it was very, very interesting, and every day was a learning for me also. So that this also made a curiosity that why I should not look at a career in looking at a people aspect.
Yeah.
But I would like to dwell back when I was after completion of my 12th, my most of the friends choose the career in engineering and medical.
Correct.
But since I told you that I'm a curious learner and want to look at a different aspect, I choose to do a different subject in BSc. I took a BSc and I started studying my BSc in criminology and forensic science, anthropology, and chemistry, and which was a very, very unique combination, and where I've thought that the learning will be different and different aspects of studies can be done. So after completion of my graduation, I had looked at two choices were there in my career. And either two, instead of two, I can think of three choices of career. One was to pursue law, since I studied criminology and forensic science,
Okay.
and which is there, and also again is related to the people. And the second aspect was choose the human resource course, either MBA or MSW.
Okay.
Third aspect was to choose a career in defense, basically. Since I did a NCC,
See, yeah.
and again the defense is related to the people. So I wondered. But subsequently, I chose the MSW as my career, where I always believe that some of the aspects which I learned during my earlier career, schooling and postgraduate level helped me to choose a MSW as a career. So I enter into the HR, but I always believe that the earlier school days where sports, NCC, and some of the leadership portfolios which I handled in my college days helped me to move into a right career into human resource.
Okay. That's great. No, I resonate because recently I visited Bagalkot and I same like I did my BS in physics, maths, and electronics (PME), and I used to play a lot of sports and did my B and C certificate in NCC. And I relate to that what you're talking about in Basaveshwar Science College. First time in the history of Science College we reach semi-final in inter-college tournament. and I was playing football. I was played district level. Thank you so much for sharing. I understand how much important as a sports going to help build your career. And as you rightly said that you want to be more people person, and I also be like more. I want to make new friends to have a new connections. That's what I started my sales career. I think we are same kind of people, but in two different professions. That's what. Thank you so much for it.
Yeah, I would like to add one more point. Just thought it came to my mind when I was started my journey as a HR. Since my one more option of career was defense, I told you.
Defense, yeah.
So because of NCCC certificate, I got a call from defense to attend a SSB interview.
Oh, cha.
So I was so excited. My already started my profession journey as a HR, and meanwhile I got one more opportunity to open as a defense to join. So I attended those interviews and everything, and final round I did not got selected because of the medical grounds. So in defense, it's very important that the knees basically it should not touch together in medical, because while you're doing parade, it will hamper your activities. So my knees touches both the things. So because of the medical ground, I did not got selected. So one of the profession which I was lacking three professions. So two professions were there, and but journey continued with HR.
No, that's but destiny is here because you want to be HR, right? That's what that choose, and that's really great. And as you mentioned, when you started a career, because I know you more than 2 decades of experience, almost all in the manufacturing industry, right? And when you started your career, initially to choose a mentor or a guide, it's very important because uh, those mentors or a guide or coach who are going to help build your career. And according to you, when you started your career as a HR, and definitely you have had some mentor in your life that who can help you to build your career. What is the important as a mentor in any kind of a profession to believe them? Yeah, he is the right guy for me to blindly accept and move forward. According to you, like what is important of mentoring in your life?
See, I will go back when I started my career in 1998. So I was new to the HR field, and I owe two mentors who guided me during my career. So they told me, Ajay, you are into the career where important aspect is that don't look that this job is not mine, this job is others. Whatever things comes to your plate, grab that first. Learn the basics. Then start looking at how you can leverage those basics into real-time aspects. And third aspect they always used to tell me is that don't run behind Lakshmi. Lakshmi is nothing but money. Always look at a learning. Suppose you have a knowledge, skills, then automatically Lakshmi will follow. These are the three things what they told me mentors. And I believed those concepts, basic concepts, and as still now I believe and I'll implement in my day-to-day work. So my mantra is that learn the basics, and whatever comes into your plate, grab those opportunities, learn those aspects, and we don't know how those things will be valued in future of your career. Third aspect is that don't run behind money or Lakshmi. Lakshmi will follow you if you have got knowledge and skill set.
But you believe that mentor in your life is very important?
Yes, I believe this mentor is very important. They will guide, they will coach, they will help you to navigate during success times as well as difficult times.
Because why I'm asking it, because there are so many new HR profession they're going to choose, and there's a lot of changes happen from last 30, 40 years in HR. And to choose a right mentor is very important as a HR executive in any organization, because once you believe in them, that you're going to, like as you told rightly, that you have core mantras in your life, because when you learn 22 decades back, that's very important, right? And I also relate well. When I started my career, my boss told me that you want to be successful in B2B sales, you need to focus on building relationships rather than focusing only on the sales. And still today, that is one of the core value of my life as a person, as well as my company value. That's what I believe that. Thank you so much.
And to add on to it, the mentors who are there, still I connected with them. They have retired from the HR profession. So I take their advice on a monthly basis whenever I got stuck, or even not stuck or not there, but I maintain their personal relationship with them that connect, and they are very, very happy with my progress in my careers.
Hmm. Got it. Yeah. In manufacturing industries, HR is very important role. Okay. When you compare with IT sector, uh, I used to think a HR person going to do all the work, but when I entered in IT corporate companies, I understand in HR there are a couple of department wise. Like for example, there are admin department is there separate, and they have a facility. Then you have a HR department. But in manufacturing basis, all these three jobs will be done by one department. That is HR. I think what I gone through couple of manufacturing industries. How it will be difficult for as a HR in manufacturing industries to take care of this kind of work.
Okay, it's a good question, Basuraj. Now the transition has moved from this what we called as the HR, where administration, the other aspects were taken care. Now it's a moved into the more of a strategic HR business partnering role now. The so earlier times the HR was there with the administration, security, canteen, and everything was there. So now the HR had become a more of a strategic business partner in the current reality.
Okay.
And these portfolios have been de-linked with the HR business partnering roles now. So there is a separate department has been created as called as administration. So those admin guys take care of all this transport, canteen, security, all employee related, welfare related activities. So HR is more of a now change agent into the business partnering, where they are partnered with the business leaders as a part of their strategy, how to look at a vision for next 5 to 10 years, what type of capabilities they have to build to succeed a business, and what type of skill set and talents required to to grow the business, and also how to develop internal talents as a part of succession planning, as a part of capability, as a part of overall growth opportunity. So the HR has moved from basic earlier transaction to the more of a strategic business
Partner. Okay. But now in HR manufacturing, HR people only focus on these area, or they have different department like admin, facility.
So we have different departments. So that's what I told you, na.
Okay.
So the HR basically they
For strategy.
more of strategic, and these people we are having a dotted lines now. So it's not a core job. They will have a dotted line. Their clear accountabilities have been defined now.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah. And as a person, like you done a lot of restructuring organization and organization growth. Do you have some things to share here where you went entered the any like you have so much experience when you enter the any organization, you done something differently that you change the organization structure or reorganizing things that given a result to your overall performance. Do you like to share the things?
Yeah. So I
Maybe you not taking the company name. You
Yeah,
can just
see, I will like to share some of the examples what we did. So I can take a means it was happened in 2019-20.
Okay.
And during that time COVID was also hit in the pandemic on this one. So I tell that one of our business vertical mm, announced as a separate entity, business entity.
Okay.
So during that time, and it was a very, very different business altogether. And it's a what we saw is that this type of market availability is very niche in India, and growth prospects are huge.
Okay.
And till earlier, the entire entity was in the umbrella of certain big businesses growth umbrella. So during that time, I got opportunity to move into that business.
So you were heading that.
So I was given opportunity to head that business.
Super. Okay.
So it was but initially many of people told me that, Ajay, you are into a good position. Why you want to move into that? Then I told, boss, there are a lot of learnings for us. And it's opportunity. People will not get opportunity such type that to head it and ensure that consistent growth of the business. And you will have a lot of challenges.
That's true.
So as a part of new organization, so we need to define who will be the heading the business and what type of org structure we are going to make it and how we are going to penetrate the market basically. Which market segment we are going to penetrate and how our sales structure will be there at across the India level. And also communication. We need to communicate the entire employees, how the new business is going to happen, what will be the structure, and where will be the location of the business. Here, what I felt was that we did a very good job by transparent communication, cultivating a trust leadership to the employees, and also ensuring that what we communicated walk the talk. So when we look back what we did, now business has grown into 1.3x level.
Wow.
So we are the second market leader in that business now, and we are continue to grow. And what we see is that future growth is very phenomenal.
Oh, super. That's really great that business gone from 1.3x is amazing. How much that has impacted you as an individual, as a Ajay, as a person?
So as a Ajay, it has helped me in a lot of aspects in terms of learning agility, basically.
Okay.
So some of the aspects what I used to do, I unlearned and relearned basically.
Acha. Okay.
That is one aspect which has helped me. Second aspect is that I looked at a people portfolio as a differently because this market is a niche skill set. And to attract and retain those skill sets, we need to play a different aspects of HR. It's not the traditional HR will help us. We have to have an innovative mindset in HR aspects, policies, and in terms of overall gamut of HR activities. Third aspect happened is that I looked at a business which I was not aware. I learned the business aspects because business acumen is very important in current HR way.
That's it. Okay.
So I look at a HR, business acumen, what are the business and who are our competitors, what competitors are doing, and how we can differentiate with the competitors and what we can do differently. These were learnings for me.
Okay. Okay. And it's very important that whenever you get an opportunity, you too should grab the opportunity and as I rightly say that you learn a lot of things and it's very important in a present era that you need to upskill yourself, right? Like because only if you done MSW or some MBA course in HR that doesn't applicable now because you need to upskill yourself, right?
Yeah.
And you learn those kind of strategic or new ideas to develop the kind of business you want to build.
Yeah. So when you told that upskill, so I would like to quote, I not only completed my MSW, recently I've done my executive people leadership development program from IIM Lucknow in 2024.
Oh, that's good.
So as a part of my upskilling, so I continued my education.
Now that's very important. You need to upskill.
Yeah.
You reach already in a stage that you no need to learn, but
Yeah.
you take those kind of initiative to learn from. That shows that how much you are going next level. That's very important as a person, and you need to be upskill every time, irrespective of any domain what you are into, right?
Yes.
Can you let us know your experience in HR and any successful initiative so far?
Yeah. It's a very up question, Basuraj. So I have got around 2 decades of experience in human resource and labor relations. Correct. Worked with various Indian as well as multinational organizations across chemical, automobile, and engineering industries. Okay. So there are various success stories are there for me to initiatives to tell. But before that, I just would like to tell about a very very basic concept how it has helped me to grow as a HR professional. So in a summary, overall my HR experiences, I can make it into 3 alphabetical word. AOC basically.
AOC.
Okay. So I call it A as a aspiration.
Okay.
O is a opportunity.
Okay.
C is a capability.
Wow. That's
So
great.
what A means? Aspire to become a good HR profession. Opportunity is to learn new things, take up new roles and upskill yourself. capability is nothing but once you have a capabilities developed, how to drive those changes and deliver results.
Okay.
So these are the three important aspects I learned through my HR career journey. Always you should be aspiring and you should grab the opportunity and you should utilize the capabilities. In a nutshell, what I can say is that the HR journey was with a lot of challenges, but it has given me a satisfaction in the entire my career. And you would like to highlight some of my key initiatives, what you asked me to highlight. There are a lot of key initiatives are there, but I would like to highlight some of the initiatives which are very, very close to my heart,
Okay.
which I feel that wow, proud moments for me. So I would like to highlight both in terms of HR as well as IR.
Okay.
Not only restricted to HR, I want to highlight for IR also.
IR is basically
Industrial relations. Okay. So in terms of HR, one would like to highlight is on the competency gap board assessment basically. So we talk about lot of competencies now, the skill set, skilling and reskilling. So what I would like to highlight is that I initiated a competency gap board assessment in one of the organization where we started with the scratch basically to understand that what type of competencies are required for a the one business growth aspect and how we need to develop those competencies and what are the type of skill sets we required to look at the assessment. So we developed the entire competency gap board and it was done through individual assessment as well as manager assessment. Okay. And once the assessment was completed, we were able to identify what are the strength areas and what are the development areas for each of the individuals.
Okay.
So we did not stop there. And for those development areas identified, we prepared a learning and development calendar for them. Basically,
For the
individuals for
Yeah.
the both in terms of technical and behavior.
Wow.
And once we implemented this entire aspect, I feel very proud. The same competency gap board assessment is implemented across 40 countries globe now. I feel proud that we at India, we started this journey and same thing is replicated with the copy and paste, not changing most of the things and they have implemented. That's one of the, what I feel initiative is very wow moment for them. Second wow moment I would like to talk about is introducing a concept called as a winning teams.
Winning teams.
Winning teams. So winning teams concept is nothing but it's a concept where in the organization which help them to perform the performer from business as well as how the collaboration plays a teamwork and collaboration plays a important role in enhancing the business performance. So we introduced the concept called winning teams where we draw those concepts in each of the team members. For example, HR, supply chain, finance, and operations. We draw those performance winning team concept. And subsequently, what we did is that we collaborated all the teams and we drew important the aspects what we drew as an individual level, we did it at an organization level. And this concept helped us to achieve 1.3x business results and also helps to improve the performance of each individual and also helped us to develop a collaborative approach in the business. So this is a second initiative what I feel is a wow factor. Third important initiative what I would like to talk about. Now lot of organizations are emphasizing on mental well-being and health well-being basically. So most of the organizations do a marathon and other things like TCS or Infosys, other things. But here we did what we did is that we collaborated with nearby industries.
Acha.
It's very important that industries collaboration with the other industry,
area.
same area we collaborated
Okay.
and we organized a marathon for employee well-being and mental wellness.
Oh, this is something
And
new.
newly we created and which helped us to create a wow factor and around more than 600 employees participated in this marathon. And also it helps us to collaborate with other industries to understand the best practices. This is what they are doing. Absolutely. So that's a third initiative what I can talk. And in terms of industrializations, I can talk about which is very, very close to my heart. I started as a journey of industrializations and moved into HR. Till now, I have signed around 7 wage settlements with the union. And each wage settlements talk about unique opportunities, unique learnings. But one settlement which is very close to my heart is the first settlement which I signed. Usually the settlements are signed for a period of 3 years or 4 years. But the settlement which I signed for a first time is a period of 5 years, and which is a landmark settlement particular to that region and with the external union leader. So I think that these are some of the initiatives which are there, which are my guiding principles in my HR.
I think great. Yeah, as you mentioned, after the competence development with individual and organization, you help them to build L&D platform, right? Let's say a bunch of people are there, you help them to build their competence, capabilities. Let's say a bunch of people, how much time it will take normally to change that from 0 to, let's say, 10, if you calculate, like, how much time it will take to transform their things? And in that, for example, couple of people not as per your require, like you feel that, okay, this person may not be able to come what we expecting, but how you going to help that person to come up that stage? Could you help me that?
So usually the competency gap road is a assessment is a journey, basically. Okay, it's not that you do it and you will get a results immediately.
If you give the time frame, how much time?
So usually the competency assessment journey was a period of 3 months. So initially we rolled out, and before rolling out, we communicated the employees, the set of employees, what you mean by competency gap board assessment, how the assessment is going to help individual, how the assessment is going to help to the organization, and in itself, what will be the outcome. Basically, any assessment is the outcome is important.
That's what.
What is the purpose, basically, the outcome. So we brief them in the town hall communication, and we seek there any clarifications are there. So we clarified those doubts.
Okay.
And wherein buy-in was there from both manager as well as employees to have a success. So once the assessment is completed, we had a very clear dashboards were there for each employees. What are their strengths and what are their development areas? So what we did is that we had an individual one-on-one discussion with employees based on the assessment. These are your strengths, these are your development areas. And how we are going to focus on strengths and how we are going to focus on development areas.
Got it.
So we clearly communicated, and we created a roadmap on the development areas, how we are going to develop these roadmaps for you. So usually the roadmap development plan was a period of 6 months we prepared.
Okay.
So both we identified, it's not only the technical, we also identified the behavior skills, basically. So we started delivering those, providing trainings for them in terms of technical as behavior. And we did not stop there. Once the training programs were completed, we had one more round of discussion with employees. How do you feel about these learning and initiatives? What you learned, and did you feel any gaps are there?
Okay.
So, and subsequently what happened is that we informed the manager, these are the deliverables already done. You look at the on-job, how their performance is measured.
Okay.
So the managers were able to see the performance differentiation in the day-to-day activities.
All right.
So this way we continued our journey of entire 6 months in the competency framework.
But my second question is, someone is not doing up to your mark, how are you going to help that person?
So what we did is that some of the people were not up to the mark.
Correct.
So what we did is that we ensured that we went into the deep dive, basically, why they were not able to cope up in spite of providing the opportunity to various development areas. So some of the aspects where they were initially, I can quote you some of the examples, is that some of the employees were very good, learned on the technical aspects, but some of the aspects in the behavior like communication skill, influence skills, they were not able to develop those things. So what we did is that we provided them a platform to improve their skills. Like we told that next time you will do a small presentation to the team on a certain topic.
Okay.
So initially they were reluctant, hesitant, but we provided all the support and we helped them to provide a training. So that way we develop those competencies also.
Got it. Okay, superb. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Ajay. My next question will be, what are some best practices for providing constructive feedback to employee?
Yeah, Basuraj, this is a very, very valid question in current reality with when we are looking at a change, when we are looking at business are going in double folds, and when it's a various aspects of Gen Z, millennials are coming into the aspect, and where we see India is growing in double fold in terms of business.
Yeah, definitely.
So feedback plays a very, very key role in one's individual career. So before I go into details, let's understand why feedback is very important for individual.
Okay.
So as per my own 2 decades of experience, feedback plays a very, very important role in any one of the employees. If you give a feedback the to employee, it will help employee engagement and motivation. Second aspect is that feedback also helps the employees to speak up openly, and also it helps to develop a good teamwork. Third aspect, what I see is that the employee feedback, whoever you provide a feedback to employees in any organization, the employees are more engaged.
Okay.
So as a leader, what he should do to provide a feedback? There are a couple of simple things I would like to highlight here as a feedback. One is that he should keep it very, very simple. Whenever the manager or the team wants to give a feedback to certain employees, always starts with a simple thing. Simple feedback, positive feedbacks to be given to the employee. Second aspect is important is that whenever the manager or anybody wants to give a feedback, he should share his story that how feedback has helped him to develop. Third aspect I would like to answer is that as a manager, he should get the feedback from his team members. It is not that only he can provide a feedback. The manager also should take a feedback from his team. What he sees about him, where is good sense, and what are the areas of development as a manager. Fourth aspect I would like to highlight here is that it also helps the employees to open up. Means it will help them to cultivate the trust leadership. And also the people will feel that I'm more open here. Suppose I get a feedback both in terms of criticism as well as good feedback, I can open up and I can talk. So in a summary, I would like to tell you that what is a good practice to provide a feedback is that before providing a feedback, the manager has to see that what type of feedback he wants to provide feedback. He should have a detailed analysis about the employee, on what subject he wants to give a feedback, and the feedback should not be given only in a vague. It should be provided with the real facts. Once he knows, he should call an employee and he should send an invite to the meeting invite or one-on-one. It should not be given in a group. Correct. One-on-one. And he should tell about the aspects of feedback. So I call it as a feedback as a sandwich feedback, basically. So whenever we eat, sandwich feedback is nothing but you give a good things, positive, and also in between you can give areas of improvement. And at the end of the feedback, you summarize with a positive aspect. And always when you are giving a feedback, there should be a two-way communication. It is not that one-way communication. The manager only is providing a feedback to employee. The employee also, when he gives a feedback, the manager has to listen it very careful. That's a important aspect. At the end, when you are completing your feedback, you should have a very clear roadmap what I'm going to do with the feedback. It is not that feedback is even close it, but you should have an action plan. Super. What I'm going to do with the feedback after providing, and what are the areas of development I given, and what I'm going to do on those feedback, and how am I going to review those feedbacks, and what support I'm going to give it to the employee as a part of my leader to improve his that. You got it. So in a nutshell, feedback is a continuous journey, and feedback should be pursued as a gift, not as a criticism. Okay. So I believe that in my way, in 2 years, 2 decades of journey, I also taken a feedback, and I also given a feedback. So I always tell the employees, feedback is a gift which will help you to develop your strengths, opportunities, and also it will help you to grow in the organization. This is my brief about feedback.
No, I agree, totally agree on that, because we also do a lot of feedback, because we normally strategic meeting happen every 45 days with ourselves and with second line leader. This is I learned from my mentor Raju Talreja. We do still every 45 strategic meeting. Then we'll give, as you mentioned rightly, that you should be more simple and with the respectable, because that's very important. How you going to communicate with the opposite person when you give the feedback. And my second leader also give the feedback to us, like as a founder of his company. But that's very important, because that's going to help you to build your career as well as the organizational growth. Yeah. Because when someone is taking in a thing, as you rightly mentioned, that you need to be implement those things. And after that, I need to be review again. Yeah. That's very, very important. I totally agree on that. Feedback going to help a lot to build your career as well as the organizational. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Now, my question is, when you give the feedback, let's say maybe to one or maybe in a group, the person didn't like your feedback. Okay, there's a lot of incidents you have gone through. How you handle those kind of situation? How you going to communicate with that? The purpose of doing feedback is to help you to build yourself, not for me, right? When I give feedback to someone, I'm helping to grow as an individual for him to next things. How do you handle those kind of tricky situation? Maybe you didn't like you understand one about through body language. That maybe you got someone knows he didn't like him offended. Situation. How you handle those kind of very sensitive, very situations, right?
Okay. Very, very simple thing. So all the five fingers are not same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huh? In any world, we will have a different kind of people are there. So somebody will like it, somebody will not like the feedback. Correct. So here the situation scenario is the person who is not like the feedback. What you are asking me? Yeah. So important aspect is that when we get the information or the person comes back to us that I did not like the way the feedback was provided. First important aspect is that listen to him.
That's absolutely.
Very, very important aspect is that listen to him. Why he is not feeling that feedback is not given in a right way. Correct. Listen to him. Understand his pain areas. Understand his concerns. Understand that why he feels that feedback is not given correctly. Show empathy, first important aspect. Have a good listener skill. Third one, be honest when you hear that what is there. Don't we feel that always he is a troublemaker, he gives a negative feedback or always clips. Be honest. After listening to him, have your views clarified to the employee. Why feedback was given in this way? That's why initially I told you that very, very important is that don't give vague answers in feedback. Have a real-time instances. Give them a feedback. And you should be always honest and transparent when you give a feedback with real-time examples.
Examples, say correct.
So those real-time examples correlate with his feedback where he criticized the feedback was not there. And also correlate with him why feedback was given to him and how it is going to help him to develop and how it will help the organization to grow and what ways manager will be supporting him to develop those feedbacks. So always we should be remember that we should deal with empathy, honest, and real-time examples while giving feedback, and listen to them and address those concerns. The concerns, once you address, the employee will be valued. That's what I told. We'll have a speak up culture. It will lead into a teamwork. It will lead into the cultivated leadership of trust.
No, I agree on that, because here a couple of leadership skills you highlighted. Like, the leader should be, first of all, he should listen 100%. That's one of the best skill what as a leader to think. And the second one is be honest to yourself, and empathy. That's very, very important, because these are skills you have a leader to build yourself is very important. Yeah, that's very, very important. Yeah. Now, my next question will be, what innovative strategy can HR adopt to attract and retain top talented in a competitive market?
Oh, it's a very, very valid question, because now,
Well, yeah, there's a lot of uh, Gen Z people are there. They have with 2-3 offer in their hand, and they negotiate with the management. Like,
so now we see a lot of talent war between the various organizations. Correct. And it's very important that how to attract and retain a talent plays a key role as a HR, as a organization. I'm not talking it's the only role of HR, it's a more organization. Yeah. So in my 2 decades, I would like to highlight 3-4 important aspects what I have done to attract and retain talent. Got it. First and foremost important aspect is that employee branding and employee value proposition. That's very important. What I can say about employee branding and employee value proposition, how the organization culture is built, what type of policies you have, what type of communication styles you have, and how you advocate your employees to be a brand ambassador of the organization. So always you allow employees to share the success stories, also to share their how the organization is working. Basically what I mean is that employees are the brand ambassador of our organization. Yeah. So develop that employee value proposition. Second aspect I would like to tell about, when you spoke about the Gen Z and other aspect, we should offer them flexibility of working and hybrid working culture. It's very, very important. Even though we are in manufacturing, I work in corely entire career in manufacturing. We have a flexible working culture in spite of manufacturing.
so in
We have got a manufacturing.
oh, that's
So what we do is that we have a telecommute policy, and where we empowered our managers to allow that telecommute policy to the employees. It is not that HR monitors it, because employees are working under various managers. So it's not HR only the role, it's a manager role also to create a attract and retain the talent. So we have a flexible policies where employees are allowed to take those utilized as well. Third aspect I talk about is that how employee can move within the career in the organization. Acha. So we have various aspects how employee can be moved. So I can talk about couple of aspects is that we have a internal job movements are there where we look at employees. So I will give one example here. At the beginning of year, what we do is that we call it as a HTL, basically, hate to lose employees. So we are overall 5 to 10% of the employees we identify. These are my HTL employees. I don't want to lose to the competitor over there. We call it as a hate to lose.
okay.
So we identify and we ensure that they are groomed appropriately in various roles. Their development plans is taken care. Their compensation is taken care, and also they are moved into the various roles as a part of their career development. So that we do it. That is the one aspect. And fourth aspect, what I can talk about is that now AI is there. We should, as a HR profession, we should use the AI tools on various datas and how datas are utilized to make a uniform decision. That also is very important. In a nutshell, what I want to say is that current reality, the compensation is not only a tool to attract and retain tool. There are other tools in the organization, basically the culture, the growth, the basically the what you can offer to as a learning and development. And lastly, I can say is that purpose. So it's all these factors matters as a part of attract and retain the talent.
No, really good. Especially that HTL is very important because that's very, very important for any organization. Because as you told, said rightly, that 10 to 20% of the employee are very important for any organization because that those are change the game of and to retain them is very difficult, as you mentioned. And when we talk about employee or brand ambassador for any organization, and could you help us to know that couple of initiative from your organization or from your end, how you going to do those employee branding, like to create a kind of brand ambassador for the world?
So what I have done in my career is that when we look at the employer brand, basically the employees will be the brand ambassador for this.
Yes.
So what we have done is that we have shared their success stories through social media's platform. Acha. Various social media platform. Second aspect, what we have done is that we have given them opportunity to interact in various forums, India as well as global forums.
In the same organization or different
Different organization, we
different platform?
different platforms.
Acha, okay. Oh, got it.
The third aspect, what we have done is that we, as I told you, the HTL, we have taken care of them in terms of career growth opportunities. It may be in terms of learning and development, it may in terms of compensation, it may turn of moving into the next level of organization. These are the various aspects in a nutshell I want to highlight. These are the 3-4 aspects what we have done as a
But
part.
that has given result to your
Yeah, we have given the very good results, and we have great visibility in basically what I can say is that great visibility in world basically.
But that has helped you to retain the employee.
Yeah, it has helped. Basically, it has helped us to attract and retain the talent.
Acha, okay, that's very important. Because this kind of initiative makes a lot of difference for the employee things. Yeah, that's really great. Thank you so much for sharing. And we almost are coming to end this episode. I would like to ask from your end, like 3 to 4 tips you would like to share with the young entrepreneur or those who are starting in their HR profession.
Okay. I will quote my own experience, what I learned. I would like to emphasize the similar thing, but very, very crisp and bullet points I would like to tell the entrepreneurs over there. One is important aspect. First point is that they should understand the business. Okay. Business is a key. Second, where the business is there, who are our competitors. Third, understand the stakeholders. And in that only, we should understand the employees. That is the one important aspect as a one thing. Second, always be empathic, teamwork, be fair, firm, and integrity. This is the second aspect. Third aspect I would like to always is that learn. Learn you. As you learn, you will grow in your career and it will help you to manage the business smoothly. So continuous learning journey. And last aspect also, it may be the repetition which I done. Don't run behind Lakshmis or money. Gain knowledge, develop your skill set, prove yourself. Once you have that capabilities, Lakshmi will start following you and nobody will stop Lakshmi P. These are my very, very basic tips to the.
No, thank you so much for sharing. Whenever this is like one of the favorite question, apart from why they choose as HR to my guests, this is one of my favorite poll because the tips what you're going to share, that's going to help us so many people, including myself. And from last 15, 16 episode, majority of the guests, they talk about lifelong learning. That's very important. I understand because when I started my learning just 5 years back after COVID, that changed my life. And definitely, that is one of the best thing what we take as a tips from the HR thought leader like you that learning is very important for organization. And one more thing you mentioned, that Lakshmi. Yeah, I do understand. That's very important. We also thought in same thing. In movie that 3D, no, that Amir Khan talk about that focus on excellence, yes, and success jhat mar ke तेरे पीछे आएगा. That's I believe in that word. Thank you so much for coming, Ajay. It's been great conversation with you and a lot of learning from me. And you're an amazing person. And more than 2 decades of experience sharing with your knowledge, experiences through examples that definitely myself as well my audience, they're going to take up a lot of things this episode. And definitely they're going to share with their professional friends. Definitely they're going to help these kind of partners. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, Basuraj. It was a pleasure interacting with you. Whatever I shared, very with honest my learnings and very open and transparent way I shared, and mostly it will be useful for someone or the other audience.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming there.
Thank you. Thank you. It's
For
a pleasure.
sustainable gift from Rafter.
Thank you. Thank you, Basuraj.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a great conversation with Ajay. And here my 3 takeaway from this episode. The number one, the first one is the feedback. It's very important to give a feedback and to take a feedback also. That's going to help you as an individual as well as overall the organization growth. And you have to be very simple and respectable feedback to the opposite person. The second one is AOC. It's aspiration, opportunity, and capabilities. When you get an aspiration, it should be more aspiration towards achieving your goal of what you want to be. As he rightly mentioned, you want to be HR leader, you need to be aspiration toward to that one. And when you get the O is opportunity. When you get an opportunity, please grab it. As he rightly mentioned, one of the ex-manufacturing industries, when he took a responsibility of building that vertical, and today it's business doing a multi-fold. You need to get that opportunity when you get an opportunity, like to grab the opportunity. The third one is capabilities. You need to be learn consistently and you should build your capabilities. When you get a new opportunity, when you grab the opportunity, you have to upskill yourself. Through that one, you're going to build your capabilities. That's very, very important. And third one is HTL, hate to lose. In this competitive world, there are a lot of people are poaching your talented employee. And this is like hate to lose. You need to maintain that kind of engagement with the employee. Like say 10% or 20% of the employee very talented in the organization. You know that these people are very important for organization to growth. You need to take maximum care of those people. As you rightly mentioned, you have to send them in a different L&D. You have to give the opportunity platform to talk about their stories. Basically, these are your brand ambassador for your organization. These are my 3 takeaway from this episode. If you like this episode, please do share with your friends and colleagues and subscribe this channel. See you in the next episode. Thank you.